So this is me testing the volume. This is me testing the volume again. So welcome to the Dublin Buddhist Centre live stream. We'll kick off in a moment or two with an hour of a drop-in meditation. And just wait for one more moment. Okay, so you're very welcome to the Dublin Buddhist Centre drop-in meditation sessions. We're running these regularly so that people can learn to meditate with us. My name is Vajrashura. I'm a member of the Triratna Buddhist Order. I think my webcam is flickering slightly. Apologies for that. Yes, I'm a member of the Triratna Buddhist Order. I'm a member of the Dublin Buddhist Centre team. And what we're going to do on this hour is do some meditation practice. So I'll lead us through 2 sits. So we'll do a body scan and we will do a period of the mindfulness of breathing. And if you haven't meditated before, if you haven't been to the Dublin Buddhist Centre before, well, I'm welcoming you now virtually. As you can imagine, we've had to close our doors for physical courses. We've moved most of our events online, so it's good to be doing this. It's good to be trying this out. I haven't done many of these YouTube live streams before. We've mostly been working on Zoom, but this is a bit of an experiment, so hopefully it'll go okay. So the first thing to say about meditation is just sitting comfortably. So if you are at home, you might want to sit comfortably on a chair, an upright chair that will keep you, upright in your physical posture, but at the same time allow you to relax. So I'm sitting cross-legged on the ground here on meditation cushions. So if you know how to do that, you can do that as well, obviously. It's better to sit in a chair upright if you're not going to be able to sit comfortably on the ground on cushions. And sitting comfortably on the ground really means being able to sit with your knees on the ground. So your knees on the ground, your ankles in front of the other, if you're sitting cross-legged. if you're going to, you can also sit kneeling with blocks underneath you. The main way with both of those postures is that the weight is going onto the sitting bones and not onto your legs. So if the weight's going onto your legs too much, you'll just get very sore legs and you'll need to break out of your meditation practice. So don't sit in meditation just yet, it's okay. But the main thing is that you're comfortable. You're just trying to be upright, alert, comfortable. So a good firm chair, one that'll keep you upright rather than a couch to slouch in, if that makes sense. Okay, so what we're going to do this hour is we'll begin with as I said, we're going to do a couple of periods of meditation. So we'll start now in a moment with a body scan. So a body scan practice is a way of bringing awareness through our body. And awareness is really powerful when it comes to being aware of ourselves. When we're aware of ourselves, we can get much more into relationship with what's going on. We can get much more into, we can feel our way into the various things that are happening in the body, the tightnesses, the stress in the body, the relaxation in the body, the tension in the body. And bringing awareness to the body tends to enhance our experience of ourselves. It tends to help us feel less stressed, less tight. It tends to help relax the shoulders. It tends to help us to inhabit our bodies much, much more. A lot of the time, we don't really live in our bodies. A lot of the time, most people are having, in a way, out-of-body experiences where they're not really in their physical body. They're in their heads, or they're off somewhere else worrying about things. So the body scan is a really good practice for helping us get into our bodies and really inhabit our experience in a much more enjoyable way. So bodily awareness is really important in meditation. In a way, it's the foundation of all meditations. So how we'll do that then is sit comfortably, as I've said, and I'll talk us through awareness of the different parts of the body. And as best you can, you bring your awareness to that part. And if you can't feel much in a certain part of your body, like, we'll begin with your feet. If you can't feel much in your feet, well, just see what you can feel. Tune into what's there, tune into whatever sensations you can feel, and see what you can feel. Be curious about the lack of feeling, you could say. One thing you can do, for example, is, can you feel how many of your toes can you feel? You might be able to feel your big toe pretty easily, each of your big toes, but can you individually feel each toe beyond that then, and so on. So don't be too worried if you don't feel much, but it's about becoming more aware. That's what the practice is. Okay, so let's begin by setting up quiet. Let's begin by setting up in a quiet space, hopefully, and let's just sit comfortably. Let's take a deeper breath or two. When you're breathing in and out, opening across the front of the chest. Now with each exhalation, just relaxing into the uprightness that comes when you breathe deeply into your chest, but keeping that openness as we breathe out and relaxing into the posture. And after 3 inhalations and exhalations, we'll begin by just tuning into the body and how it generally feels being seated here. Are we at ease? Are we comfortable? Is our experience of sitting here pleasant? Is it unpleasant? Is it somewhat neutral? Is there anywhere in particular in the body you're aware of? In terms of pleasure or pain? Maybe an ache in the head, or something in the belly, and so on. And then bringing our awareness down into our feet. So we begin the body scan by bringing our awareness down into the feet. So seeing what we can feel in the feet. Can you feel the feet in contact with the floor, with the cushions or whatever you're sitting on? Can you feel the contact of your feet with the fabric of your clothing? Can you feel the temperature of your feet? Can you feel the sensations in your feet? How many of your individual toes can you be aware of? Becoming aware of the soles of your feet, the tops of your feet. Becoming aware of your ankles. You might not be able to feel much in your ankles, but at least being aware of where they are. Even roughly. Becoming aware of your shins and your calf muscles. It can be good just to relax the calf muscles, letting go of any shape or holding. Moving into your knees, becoming aware of the sides of your knees, the fronts of your knees, maybe feeling the fabric of your clothing over the fronts of your knees. Becoming aware of the space behind the knees, the sensations at the backs of the knees. Moving our attention into our thighs, becoming aware of, letting go of any holding in these strong muscles. Becoming aware of your sitting bones in contact with the chair or the cushions. Just allowing the chair or the cushions or whatever you're sitting on to really support your weight, letting go into that support. Becoming aware of your hips and your pelvis and buttocks. Becoming aware of your groin. Moving into the lower back then. Becoming aware of the muscles around the spine, the backs of the kidneys. Moving up then along the spine, the muscles either side of the spine, all the way up the back to the base of the neck. It's almost like you're opening a zip up along the back and the muscles are relaxing either side of the spine. Becoming aware of the muscles around the shoulder blades and the shoulders. So there can be lots of textures of sensation here. It can be tightnesses and tensions in the shoulders. Or maybe feelings of relaxing in the shoulders. Whatever you feel, just being open to it. Becoming aware of our throat and the back of our neck then as well. You could even imagine an opening in the throat, in the neck. Muscles opening, energy opening. Becoming aware of the jaw, just checking that we're not clenching our jaw. Becoming aware of our mouth, our lips are gently closed or just open, the tongue is relaxed. Becoming aware of our nose and our cheeks. The eyelids are just closed. The eyes don't have to do anything right now. Our forehead, our eyebrows are relaxed, we're not frowning. Becoming aware of our ears and the sides of our head. The back of the head. The scalp and top of our head. Then becoming aware of the space behind the eyes, behind the forehead, imaginatively relaxing the brain, easing, softening, letting go of any pressure or tightness that's built up, softening any aches, letting go of any aches that's built up from our day so far. And then bringing our attention back down into the body, back down into the arms, becoming aware of the upper arms, relaxing the muscles here, letting go of any shape or holding, becoming aware of the bend of the elbows, the bend of the arms at the elbows. Our forearms, becoming aware of our wrists, we can actually feel a lot in our wrists energetically. Becoming aware of our hands, the backs of our hands, the palms of our hands. Becoming aware of our fingers and thumbs. And then moving our attention into our stomach and abdomen area, letting go of any shape or holding here. Letting it all soften, letting any tightness just dissolve into the floor. Becoming aware of the sides of our bodies, from our hips to our pelvis. From our hips to our armpits, I meant. Becoming aware of our chest, and heart area. Becoming aware of the breathing in our lungs. For the last few moments, just being aware of the breath in, the breath out. And then when you're ready, starting to broaden out your attention again, starting to take in the room around you, the sounds you can hear, starting to reintroduce movement, wiggling fingers and toes. And introducing movement. When you're ready, coming back to a more regular seated position if you wish. Okay, so that was a period of the body scan. So I'm just getting a little error on my YouTube. I hope you can still see this. Okay, that the quality has just gone down. Hopefully, it's just a blip in the Wi-Fi. In any case, that was the body scan. So that's a lovely practice to do to help us to reconnect again with our bodies and to really feel embodied again. So much of what we do in the world, so many of our problems, our stresses and so on, just come through, are made worse at least through being in our heads, not really inhabiting our bodies. So next up I want to talk a bit about mindfulness, and then I want to do the mindfulness of breathing. So mindfulness is a practice which is central to the Buddhist tradition. Okay, I'm just getting a comment there, it's working fine, that's great. So mindfulness is a practice that's central to the Buddhist tradition and has been for many years now. Since the Buddha 2,500 years ago. And it's a very popular practice throughout the world at the moment. Many different traditions have really taken it up in the recent years. And it's both surprisingly easy and quite difficult to describe. So mindfulness really boils down to just being aware of what's going on internally, externally, what's going on with people around you, and so on. So it simply boils down to being aware. And yet there's loads that could be said about it, and it's a practice that's really hard to do actually for all the time, because we get distracted, we get lost in stories, and so on. And so one way I like of looking at mindfulness is that it's about vividly inhabiting your experience, vividly living in your experience, rather than just being a kind of a slightly disembodied passenger in your experience. You're really vividly in your experience, you're living it out, you're having the experiences that you're having, rather than just feeling like you're watching them happen in front of you. So we're aware, we're trying to cultivate awareness in our practice. Excuse me. And in a way, that's all you need to know. You just need to be aware and remember to be aware. And that's the two of the central aspects of mindfulness in Buddhism. There's the third aspect as well, which is what you're doing as you're being aware helpful to you or not. So there's an awareness of whether things are helpful or not, the things that you're doing. So for example, you might feel stressed, and then you stop and you become aware of what's going on for you, and you remember to stay being aware, and also you remember, okay, it's not necessarily good for me to focus on this story about how it's all going wrong, so instead I'm going to focus on being in my body and following the breath, as we'll do in a few moments. So that's how mindfulness works basically in a nutshell. You watch what you pay attention to, and you pay attention to that which is useful. I think that's all I'll say now about mindfulness itself. So how we cultivate mindfulness is that we practice becoming aware of one thing. Yeah. So when we practice again and again being aware of one thing, then we'll get good at focusing on one thing. We'll get good at bringing our awareness to what we want to focus on. And in Buddhist meditation practice, there's lots of different things you can use. Some people use candles to focus on. Some people use mantras to focus on. There's even very complicated visualizations of figures in Buddhism to do. But we're going to focus on the breath, which is a very classic Buddhist way of cultivating mindfulness. So we're going to focus on the breath, and when your attention wanders off, as it will do, it must be said, it will wander off, we just bring it back again to the breath, and we start the practice again on the breath. So for 20 minutes we're going to focus on being aware of the breath. Yeah. Now 20 minutes feels like a long time to just be aware of the breath, so we're going to do that in a few different stages as well. So in the first stage we're going to be aware of the breath, but help us to do that by adding a count. So we breathe in, breathe out, count 1. Breathe in, breathe out, count 2, and so on. And when we reach 10, we'll start again at 1. Yeah? So breathe in, breathe out 9, breathe in, breathe out 10, breathe in, breathe out 1. And the main focus is on the breath, not the counting. The count is just there very quietly, internally, to help us stay with the breath. So that's the first stage, and I'll remind us of this in the practice. In the second stage, we're going to do it slightly differently. So in the second stage, we have the count before the in-breath. So it's 1, breathe in, breathe out. 2, breathe in, breathe out. And so on. And when we reach 9, breathe in, breathe out. 10, breathe in, breathe out. We start again at 1. And it's subtly different from the first stage, but it does make a difference. It kind of feels like it would be the same, but it does make a difference. The slight distinctive emphasis of each one. It's worth saying as well, by the way, that we're not trying to force the breath into any particular length. We're not trying to control the breath in any way. So it's not pranayama, if you're familiar with pranayama, or any kind of breath control exercise. We're simply being with the breath as it is, letting it be at its own pace. Okay, so then in the third stage, we're simply aware of the breath without any count. So it's the breath in, the breath out, And each kind of intermediate, you could say, where the breath in becomes the breath out, where the breath out becomes the breath in. Those are kind of interesting places as well you can look for. So where does an in-breath become an out-breath? Where does an out-breath become an in-breath? And so on. And then in the fourth stage, the last stage, we become aware of where we can first feel the breath enter the body. So it might be that you first notice the breath on your lips, in your nose, in the bridge of your nose, in your throat, and you bring your awareness to that point. And at that point then, you are aware of the sensations as you breathe in and as you breathe out. So you might notice the coolness of the air in and the warmth of the breath out, and so on. And we do that again for a few minutes, typically for 5 minutes a stage. And it's also probably worth saying that it doesn't really matter too much whether you breathe in through your nose or through your mouth. The main thing is that you're breathing comfortably, you're at ease in your breathing, you're not controlling it, you're not forcing it. Generally the nose tends to be the more favoured one, but it's whatever works for you. You might have a cold and your nose is blocked up, or it might just be more comfortable breathing through your mouth right at this moment. Okay, so I'll talk us into that now in a minute. I'll lead us into that in a minute, rather. And we'll have a few minutes to set up and a few minutes to finish. And then at the end, I'll just make a few final points, okay? So we'll do the mindfulness of breathing now. So if you want to, again, sit comfortably in your posture, making sure you're upright, making sure you're comfortable and at ease, but at the same time, you're not in a posture that's going to just make you fall asleep by being too slouched. Closing your eyes again when you're ready. Taking a deeper breath or two into the body, down into the belly. Feeling the openness across the front of the chest as you do. Feeling the sitting bones in contact with the cushions or the chair. And just starting to notice the body breathing, starting to notice the breath in the body. The breath at its own pace, allowing it to emerge naturally. You don't have to grab it straight away. It's good if we can keep our awareness of the breath below the nose and below, rather than up in the head, where it becomes more of an idea. You want to stay with the actual breathing, rather than an idea about the breath. And remembering our intention to stay engaged with the breath as best we can. So we're going to stay engaged with the breath for this next 20 minutes. We're going to resolve that if we do wander off, well, we acknowledge that's okay, and then we bring ourselves back to the breath again and back to the practice. And if we're in one of the counting stages, we can just start the count again at 1, rather than trying to remember where we were. So remembering that intention to stay engaged with the practice. So now in the first stage of the mindfulness of breathing, we'll become aware of the in-breath, the out-breath, and we'll add a count after the out-breath. So we breathe in and out, 1, breathe in, breathe out, 2, quietly, internally the count, and so on at your own pace. And when you reach 10, start again at 1. But the main focus is on the breath. at its own natural pace. Really just noticing what the breath feels like. And if you wander off, again just coming back to the practice. It's fine to wander off and just bringing yourself back. Again, if you wander off, that's fine, just coming back again to the breath. And now in the second stage, we'll do it a little differently. So this time we have the breath, but we have the count before the in-breath. So it's 1, breathe in, breathe out. 2, breathe in, breathe out. And so on at your own pace until you reach 10, and then start again at 1. The breath's own natural pace. And if you wander off, that's okay, just coming back again to the practice, back again to the body breathing, starting the count again from 1. all we need to do is just be here with the breath. Nothing else. The breath and the count. And now in the third stage of the mindfulness of breathing, we drop the count completely. And we're simply aware of each breath in, each breath out. And we can also be aware of the turning points between those two. Where does the in-breath become the out-breath? Where does the out-breath become the in-breath? So really being interested in the simplicity of the breath, enjoying the simplicity of just sitting here with the breath, if we can. So nothing else to do. Nowhere else to be. Just here with this in-breath. Just here with this out-breath. And if you wander off, just coming back again to the breath, back again to the practice. And now in the fourth stage, we start by becoming aware of the point at which we can first feel the breath enter the body. Where can we first feel the breath? Is it in the nostrils, in the nose, on the lips? So spending a few moments noticing this. And now in this stage, we notice the sensations at this point as we breathe in and as we breathe out. Noticing how the air feels at this point, how the breath feels. You can notice things like, does the in-breath feel different to the out-breath? In length, in temperature? So it can be quite subtle at this point, so just really seeing what it is you can feel. And if you wander off again, just coming back to the point of first contact and the body, back to the sensations as you breathe at that point. And now letting go of the breath, letting go of any effort to do anything except just sit for a few moments. Just staying in your, whatever your meditation posture is, keeping your eyes closed and not moving. We let go of the practice of following the breath completely. Let go of any effort to do anything else. Just letting the mind do whatever it wants to do. As we absorb the practice we've just done, and as we just sit for a few more moments. And then starting to broaden out your awareness to reintroduce movement, wiggling fingers and toes, making whatever adjustments or movements you want to make to come back to a more regular seated position. It can be nice to rub your face, to just give yourself a bit of a shake, gently. And opening your eyes when you're ready. Excuse me. Okay, so you've now done the Mindfulness of Breathing practice. I don't know if you've done it before or not, but certainly you've done it now. And it's a really great practice for building up the mindfulness that I was talking about before the session. So do feel free to keep doing that practice. I mean, it's a practice you can do every day. People often like doing it in the mornings, first thing when they get up, or in the evenings to help them to sleep better. And if you do it every day, you will really notice an improvement in the quality of your day, in the quality of your life. So it's a really great practice that I've really loved over the years. I've been doing it now for about 21 years, I think it is. And yeah, it's always of benefit to me. If you this hour is just a drop-in hour, so it's quite quick in terms of going into it with you. If you want to do a more structured course, we're running a newcomers meditation course, a free online meditation course, starting this Thursday morning at 10:30 a.m. It runs for an hour and a half each week for 5 weeks. I'll be leading that. So you can check out our website, dublinbuddhistcentre.org, for details of how to book on for that and how to register and a bit more information about what will happen on the course. It'd be nice to see you there. We'll be doing that through Zoom rather than YouTube. A couple of final things then. I guess you can check out all of our online events on dublinbuddhistcentre.org, and in particular dublinbuddhistcentre.org/online. We've got lots of different things that we put online as resources, as supports, as ways of keeping our practice going during the lockdown. Included as well as loads of thought for the day videos. So every weekday video we have a little thought for the day about how to live from a Buddhist perspective in these times. So do check those out as well. Feel free to comment in the comment box as well if you want about how that meditation practice was, or if you have any questions. And then the last thing to say is that the Dublin Buddhist Centre is a charity, and what we're about is simply offering Buddhism, offering meditation, offering yoga, offering all these different things to people in order to help improve the quality of life of people in Ireland, and to help people explore Buddhism, helping people explore meditation and so on. And we're very happy at the moment to offer everything online for free. We don't feel like it's right to charge for those kinds of things at the moment, given the situation. But if you want to help us in that, if you want to support us in that by giving financially, please do consider doing that as well. So we're entirely dependent upon donations at the moment. So you can donate at dublinbuddhistcentre.org/donate. I'll type that in the comment box. Why don't I type it in now? Just so you have the link. And do think about giving to us as well. And aside from that, just to say best of luck with your practice, and hopefully I'll meet you on another event, either a YouTube call like this or on one of our. We do most of our events on YouTube, on Zoom actually. So with I think with YouTube it's easier for newcomers just to come along and not feel like they have to be looking at each other. But on our courses and more regular events, we tend to use Zoom where you can see more people, and that's quite nice as well. So do come along to some of our events. Thanks, Carl, for the comment. And we'll leave it there. So best of luck to you all, and see you again at some point.